Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, I'll just talk a little about the car my daughter used to win our modified races, or at least most of it. This car won probably the 4 out of the last 6 club races or big races in our country. And just to share with you what equipment and setup we use. So first on the equipment, we still use an old X-Ray T4 2018. What's different is in the last race, we decided to change from a 17.5 boosted motor and put in a 5.5 turn modified motor, more power. It's a little handful in our small track, but what I did was I detuned it. So the timing is maybe 15 degrees, no boost, so it's milder. And I like the response. And it's definitely faster than the 17.5 or 13.5 boosted. So that's one good advantage, but you have to have a, what do we say? You have to be careful when driving. So you can go over the limit, and it requires more driving skill. The weaker motors, you can push hard, your car will not overshoot, or it's hard to overdrive a weaker car and easy to overdrive a powerful car. But it's good practice and it's fun to drive. And so here, the challenge actually in our track is when we race, we start on a relatively low grip track in the afternoon. And then when the finals come, it's towards the evening, the track becomes very high grip. And so, that's the main challenge in terms of trying to win our races. So when I start the day qualifying, I try to use an aggressive body, a body with more steering. So when you have low grip, your front tires need grip to turn the car when the track is still slippery. So what I do is the front has no roll bar. I remove the anti-roll bar. I remove the 2 screws on the top deck. I use 2 screws. I don't have this middle screw as well. And the same with the rear. So the car has more flex. I also have more shims here I use 3mm. More shims gives more aggressive steering. And in the rear, I use probably less toe in. And the body, we were using an old Protoform Type S. Ride height is 5mm. I use SMJ springs that are 2.5 to 2.8. The rear is around the same, around 2.8, I think. And that's what we use for qualifying, and then we use rush tires. And then once the grip goes higher, I start to make the car less flexy, make it more stiff. So I add the screws back. I even put a center screw here, fixated to the servo, so it really makes the top deck a little more stiff. But it still flexes, and the rear screws. And then I change this from 3mm down to 2.5mm or 2mm or 1.5. I can't recall, but it's less shims, so more smoother steering. I connect the front anti-roll bar, and then we used a less downforce body, so I used a Tamiya Ebro it's a GT type body actually. It's not a touring car, but it's allowed in our rules. It gives a little more understeer car, but when the track is very high grip, it just gives a neutral feeling car. So it's easier to drive, safer, over 5 minutes, less mistakes. And of course, I also manage the traction compound. So sometimes I use a stronger compound. I use my regular gold traction compound. Then, but on the front, sometimes I use a weaker version that I have that I don't really sell, but it's unusual. It's really for very high grip. So my front traction compound is a little less aggressive than the rear. And it allows my driver to really attack the corners with confidence, not worry about traction roll and so on. And then, yeah, so actually surprisingly, that Tamiya Ebro body was actually faster than the touring car bodies um, by quite a margin. So it's interesting. I learned something new that last race. It did not give the fastest lap. It was probably 0.2, 0.3 or 0.4 seconds off the fastest lap of, but over 5 minutes it was so consistent and less mistakes that it gave really a faster overall 5 minute run. We tried to put back the touring car body. It gave faster, fastest lap or something, but my driver spun the car out 2 times in 5 minutes. So it was edgier, harder to drive. Maybe she'll need more practice with it. But yeah, so this is, that's it. Just to share with you that even old cars are competitive at the highest level of country club racing, like the modified class. It's pretty fast, and I tried using it after her race. I enjoyed it actually, even though I don't race touring cars. All right, so if you have questions, just drop it in the comments. Otherwise, let's enjoy 2022. More races to come. Actually, I'm building a new car for my daughter to race because I like Tamiya. So I'll share with you in the next video the car I'm preparing for our modified races in 2022. Hope it works. Hope it's fast as our TA05 or faster. She's not enthusiastic about it. She's not exactly thrilled after I told her what car I was preparing for her to run in the modified class. She's very happy with this, very fast with this one, but yeah, I just, I want something different. All right, thank you and see you in the next video. Cheers. 28 seconds. Woo! Woo! Turbo! 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 Congrats! Turbo! Ayan na! Whoa! 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 Alright! Xmas Race Part 2! Xmas Race Part 2!